Well, it's never done that before. It just said recording in progress. So I guess this is recording. Good morning, everyone. Although it might be evening or the middle of the day or whatever when you actually watch this. So it's morning when I'm recording. It's Miss Joanne here at West Nyack Library. And this is Go Green with Miss Joanne. This is not Go Green in a big giant way. This is Go Green in a little personal kind of a way. So what we're going to do today is plant some seeds. And I actually have two kinds of seeds. If you are registered for this program, you will have picked up a bag that looks like this. It might be a different bag, but it's the same supplies inside. So I'm going to show you this one, and then I'm going to put everything back in because I actually have everything in front of me. So you're going to find, first off, a bag of dirt. And I'm putting that down on a paper because I don't want to make a mess. You're going to find a little baggie. Oh, and it got stuck together. That might happen. You have a flower pot that has 3 little containers that look similar to this in your flower pot. And I crisscrossed tape across them so that everything would stay in there. And you will have a little baggie that looks like this. So you'll have 2 of these in here and a thing of glue. In here, there are also some a popsicle stick. Oh, I put 1 popsicle stick. You're going to need 2. Shoot, I will have to fix that. That's what's good about doing these things and going through the whole process. There are a couple of little flowers if you want to stick them on, some garden type twine that I thought would look cute wrapped around your flower pots. So you need all the stuff in your bag. Let me put this one back in here so that whoever gets this bag isn't missing supplies. There we go. Okay. You will also get a straw and you will get a spoon and a sheet of instructions. You will need to supply a cup of water or a watering can or both. And I'll show you the reason that I put the straw is that you don't want to disturb the seeds once they're in there. So if you want to, you can put it in the cup like that, then put your finger over it. And when you pick it up, there will be water in there and you could gently let it go on your plant, on your seeds in the dirt, on the dirt. Okay, so that I'm just putting it aside for now. As I said, we also have a watering can because you're going to moisten your soil at first, so that'll be easier for that. Some old newspapers or a plastic tablecloth or a plastic bag that you cut the sides and open it flat. Okay, you might have to do a little snipping at the middle if it's one of those ones that kind of gathers in, but you can get a nice sized piece to cover up your table. Don't do this in your mom's living room where there's white carpet. This should be done in a basement or maybe in the kitchen if your mom says okay. If it's a beautiful warm day, as we've had a few, you can go outside and do this. Okay, you want a container that will act as a drip tray. And it says a plastic container. I actually had a plastic one and apparently didn't bring it in with me. It's in the other room, but that's okay because I have not plastic, but paper, a paper plate, which is fine for the beginning. If you were to keep using it and using it and using it, the water would probably seep through. But for a starting point, it's fine. So you need something to put underneath your flower pot to act as, they call it a drip tray. Oops, hold it higher. There we go. Okay. You'll want some plastic wrap or a plastic bag, excuse me, to put your shamrocks, that's one of the plants we have, in, because the instructions say to cover them with plastic wrap. So some saran wrap, some generic plastic wrap, whatever would be good. And then you need some old rags or some paper towels. These ones that I have here are probably not going to be great because these are very thin and they're not terribly absorbent, but they're better than nothing. So, okay. So we have all that. We have a skinny stick for poking things around and for gluing. And we have a popsicle stick, and I actually already put mine together. So that's what it says. So I hope you can read it because it's backwards to me. It says go green, and you can write on there whichever plant you put it with. So there are 2 of those, but unfortunately I only put 1 popsicle stick, so I'll have to add an extra popsicle stick to every bag. Okay, so that's the story. We're going to get started. So I'm going to do, and going through my instructions, which I have to rewrite because I decided that they weren't quite what I wanted to say, but the beginning is correct. Set up your space, clear everything from your work surface that can be damaged by dirt or water. Important. Okay, so if you're doing this near your mom's computer, not a good idea. You could do it if you put something down in the sink. You could do it in the kitchen sink. Just you have to put something down to catch the excess dirt and all, because you don't want that going down your drain. Okay, so you're going to cover the surface with the old newspapers, whatever. And then you're going to set everything aside except for the bag of soil, your flower pot number 1. Actually, you could do both at the same time. It wouldn't matter. And your water. So you want to keep that nearby. I have it on a different table over here since my computer is here to do the recording. And I don't want to get water on my computer. That would be really, really bad. Okay, so you're going to open up your Ziploc baggie and you're going to put some. Now, I will also give you a spoon, but that might take a little time. If you have a little shovel at home, that would work. So I'm just pouring it in, and I've already made a mess on my little tray that I had here. Did I mention that the other thing to put down, if you have one, is a tray? Okay, the bottom of a cardboard box, a dishpan, if you happen to have one, anything that you can control where your dirt goes. And here we go. We're going to put you a little more in here. And you're going to fill it most of the way up. And I'm going to use my spoon to kind of guide it. Now, I am right-handed, and left-handed really doesn't make it. Okay, so here we go. Get a little more. You want it almost all the way up to the top. Because you're going to add water. You'll see the potting soil is not terribly dry because it's in plastic, but it's not really moist either. And you want it moist for your little seeds to do their thing. So I have it pretty much at the top. You can see it right there. I'm just patting it down in a little bit. And if I change the angle on this, I don't know if you can see, I made a mess in my tray, but it's not anywhere else, so it's all good. Also, if you have any of those plastic gloves that people were wearing at the beginning of the whole COVID business, you might want to put those on if you don't like dirt on your hands. I didn't put any on today, but actually I have gardening gloves at home that I would use if I were outside doing a whole bunch of planting. So anyway, it's full, or appears full, to the top. So I'm putting it back in my plastic tray here, and I'm taking my watering can, and actually I'm going to lift it up. So, well, I can't hold it high enough, and so you don't, it will, as you put water, it will kind of puff up a little. So be careful, go slow. You might not even want to put quite as much as I put initially. and you're just going to add water. You will see it start coming out the bottom. Good reason for that tray underneath, right? If you don't have the big tray, make sure you have a plate or a bowl or something under there that can be washed thoroughly, or something disposable, a takeout food bowl. I like to eat some of those frozen unwrapped burrito bowl things, something like that. They come in a bowl. So something like that. And you'll see, come on, do it. There it goes. It's dripping. So we know that the water went all the way through, but it still doesn't feel all that moist. So I'm going to take my spoon and my straw, and I'm going to just start adding it in a few spots just to try to get it maybe around the edges more and stuff. If it shrinks down a whole lot, then you can add more soil. And again, you're going to have to moisten it more. Okay, can you see each time I do that, I'm putting my finger over it until I get it over the pot, and then I let it go. And it will only go as far as the water is in your container. So that's not a whole lot of water. I should have gotten a clear straw, but don't have any. These are straws we've had at the library for years. So just so you know, we're not buying any more plastic straws, I don't think, but we have quite a supply of them from previous craft type things. So we will use them up. All right, so now, wow, that's a lot of water coming through. I think I will take a couple of my not so wonderful paper towels and put them down there to absorb some, because I don't want quite a mess. I've got it looks like dirt soup over here right now on my plastic tray, but that's okay. That's what it's there for. Okay, so now we have our water. I'm going to put that over there again because I don't want it close to my pot. And we're going to, let's see, take the lid off one of the seeds. Okay, so these are shamrocks, and yours will have an S on the top. Mine don't, because it was the leftovers. Okay, so I didn't bother. I left my other seeds in their packet, which they're lettuce seeds. Okay, now since these are tiny little seeds, oh, I shouldn't have even opened it yet, because I wanted to show you some of the seeds were really clinging to the plastic lid. So before you open it, unlike what I did, tap it down and make sure if they were up there that they're now down in the container. Okay, and then you take off your lid, put it aside, and I am going to take, because they are tiny. Initially, I was just going to sprinkle them on top, but I decided that's not going to be so good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of dirt. There you go. And I'm going to put it in my little cup, maybe a little bit more, like that. And then I'm going to put the lid back on my cup, and I'm going to shake it. And hopefully my seeds are getting mixed up with the dirt, and now there's a little more volume. Again, I'm tapping it down because stuff is clinging to the lid. I'm going to take my lid off gently, keep it over your tray. And I'm now going to sprinkle it onto the top of my soil. And hopefully, since they're immensely small, the shamrock seeds are brown, golden brown. Okay, so you might be able to see them. Yeah, I can see them, they're there. And you might want to pat them down a little bit. And then again, I am going to take my water with my cup and put a little bit more. Now, we know it already went through, but this is going to help the little seeds kind of stick to the soil and get into the soil a little bit more. So they call it watering them in. And if you were doing something bigger, a whole bunch of plants that you bought at the nursery or whatever, and you're going to plant them in, you would use a watering can, or you'd use a hose on a very gentle setting. But for this, my little straw method works just fine. And as I kind of interrupted myself, as high as the water is in here, that's how much you'll get in here. So if I tip my cup a little, I'm going to get a little more in there. So you can use a deeper cup if you want. Use something heavy so you don't bonk it over with your elbow like I would do, because I have a tendency to move my arms and hands around a whole lot and stuff happens sometimes. Okay, so there they are. My little seeds are in there. And I don't think you can see them if I put them like this. Let's see. I don't think you can spot them. I don't want to get it too close to my computer, but you might see tiny brown flecks, not the bigger things, but tiny, tiny, tiny little things. Those would be the seeds. So that's it. And you can see probably it was dripping. Maybe you saw it dripping. Okay, so that's that. They are planted. Okay, and let me take another one of those paper towels. Excuse me. And I am going to, if I can get one, goodness, wipe off my hand. All right, so there we go. And I have my little sign that I made, and I only have one. You have two. So I'm going to write shamrocks, and I already put it together. You will have to glue yours together, but that's fine. I did it right before I started, so the glue would be partially set so that I could take it, and when I'm ready, I could stick it in. Before I stick it in, you'll see that you have a couple of little flowers. There are only a few. I thought they were going to be much bigger when I ordered them, and they're quite small. They're little. They're tiny. Some of you got bigger ones. Some of you got one bigger one and one small one. So they have an adhesive, with a backing on it. We'll put that over there. And let's see, I think I'll just stick it there. And you can see they have a sparkle in the center. And I'm going to take my piece of twine and I'm going to wrap it around. Now I want that to be the front. So let's see, or actually, I want that to be like a little off center. So I'm just going to wrap my twine around, and I'm not sure. This piece, when I cut it, I was in kind of a hurry. And so let's see. Okay, I'm not going to have enough to make a bow if I go around twice. You should have enough to make a bow if you go around 2 times. You may not want to go around 2 times. That's up to you. Okay, and as you see, it doesn't want to stay that easily. I'm just going to tie my little knot here, and I'm going to do my best to make a good square knot instead of my usual granny knot. Let's see, let me do that again. So to make a square knot, you take the right and you go over the left, and then you go with the left over the right. I really have to pay attention to that. Otherwise I make granny knots, and it wouldn't matter on this. I mean, what difference would it make? It's not holding anything together. But if you were doing something important that needed to be held together, then you might have a problem if you made a granny knot. They come untied very easily. So there's that. And then here's my little sign that I can poke in, and I'm poking it near the wall of the cup of the little plant pot. So there you go. And my flower is over there. And that's my shamrocks. So I'm going to put them in my drip tray and put that aside. And I'm going to do pretty much the same thing with my lettuce. So let me put something to absorb some of this moisture in here, because it really came through, and I should have brought more paper towels. So there you go. Bring more paper towels than you think you'll need, or more rags. Not your mom's good kitchen towels, something old. Okay, so there we go. And I'm going to start again with my other pot. I should have warned you about this. They are together. Ooh, these are called growing pots, and you get them for, like, the nurseries use them and stuff, and they're very thin. And they're very close together. So you might have to put your fingernail in there and then sort of spread them apart so that you get them. So there we go. There's my other pot. And I am going to, again, fill it up with dirt. All right, and I'm going to put it over here. And it's a little easier now that there's not quite so much dirt in my bag. If you wanted, you could transfer the dirt into something else, a bigger bag, a box, anything that doesn't matter if you get dirt on it, and that can be thrown out or thoroughly washed. And by the way, this is not just dirt, it is actually potting soil. And you buy it at a nursery or at Home Depot or in the supermarket, but it will say potting soil, and there are different ones for different types of plants. So if you had cactus, you wouldn't buy this. You would buy a mix that's for cactus and succulents, and that would be a sandier soil. Trying to think what else, what other kinds they have. I think there are a few different ones, but that one I know for sure. So there I've got my pot filled, and let's put some water in. So here we go. I left this one a little bit less full so I didn't have to fudgel around so much. Okay, and there's my water coming through on one side and not on the other. So let me put a little bit more over on that other side of the pot. So I'll use this so I can direct it. There we go. Because you want the soil uniformly moist. You don't want one side soggy and one side dry. Okay, there we go. All right, put that back over there. And we'll give it a few moments to percolate down. Now you see this one's pretty low. So you might want, if it's low, right now it's about this deep, right where the edge is there on the pot. So if it's that low, you might want to take your spoon and stick a little bit more in. There we go. Yeah, just another spoonful. Okay. And then you're going to take, again, I'm going to put a little tiny bit of water just to moisten that on the top. Actually, let me see. I'll do this. How much water can I get in my straw if I do it that way? Not that much. I don't know, my straw has a hole or something. It might. It's an old straw. So there we are. We've got our water on there, and I've leveled out the soil. Now, the other thing you could do, if you didn't want to use that, if you wanted to mix up a little more dirt with your seeds, you could take your plastic baggie, and my lettuce seeds, as I said, were in here because I just took whatever was left. And so I'm going to sprinkle some of them in the baggie. Not all of them. Oh, actually that was all. It wasn't that much in there. Okay, and you'll see they stuck to the baggie. That's okay, because we're going to put some dirt in there. Same as we did before. Just a little dirt. Move this over so I'm not crisscrossing across myself and making bad things happen. Okay, so there we go. There's one little spoonful. 2 spoonfuls. Okay. That's probably good. And I'm going to seal my baggie. Make sure you seal it. Make sure it's hooked. Make sure it's not, sometimes you think you're sealed and they're not. And again, I'm going to shake it up, shake it up, shake it up, shake it up. There we go. Okay. And I am going to, this time, spoon it in my pot. Okay, and I'm going to make sure I get all of that out of there, because with my luck, all the seeds would be right there. Wouldn't that be weird if they all congregated in one little section, and then when you put it in the soil. There were no seeds. The lettuce seeds are black. So I think I can see them, but I'm not sure. I mean, that might not really be them. I don't know. Because, as I said, they're really small. And my eyes aren't that good. But I think I see at least one. Okay, and then again, we're going to water them in a little bit. And I'm using my watering can this time because I didn't fill this pot quite so deep. There we go. There you go. Now the lettuce, they say that they are 42 days to harvest. I think it's supposed to be 7 to 10 days. So a week and a half until you start seeing little tiny things poking through. We'll see what happens. You just never know when you plant seeds. Every time you plant a seed, it's sort of like putting hope in the ground. And most of the time you get something back, but we'll see. If your lettuce starts growing, make sure you keep watering it. Don't drown it, but make sure you keep the soil a little bit moist. It should go in a sunny place, not a hot place. Lettuce is a cool weather plant. So if you wanted to plant some outdoors, like make a little garden with lettuce and carrots and tomatoes and green beans and whatever, this would go in pretty early. And then it does what they call bolt. And once it's done that, you yank them out of the ground and you plant something else. So that's it. That's our lettuce planted. And I'm not going to put the fancies on here just because I don't want to take up any more of your time right here. But that's what it's going to be. Actually, maybe I will put a little twine on it. So I didn't cut a second piece for myself. So let's see. I'll cut it right now. Kind of like I kind of gave everybody all the goodies and didn't save enough for me. If your twine is sliding down, whoa, that piece I cut too big. All right, if it's sliding down the pot, you do have the glue, which is in also one of these little things. And you have your stick, which you can dip in and use it to make little spots. So I'm going to do that right now. I didn't make myself a cute little cup. I just used a Dixie cup. So, you know, like from the water fountain. So I'm going to get a little glue and just dab it around here. Let's see. It seemed to like to sit right underneath that ridge where it pops out. So let me get the glue on that part. My glue has been sitting here all morning and it's sort of congealed. So that means it got thick. That was a new word for you. So that actually is not such a bad thing. And this is thick glue to begin with. It's super tacky glue. That's its name. And so it is thick, and that makes it good that it won't slide down. All right, now I'm going to find the center of my twine and put that right there in the glue and go around. And then I'm going to go around again because I feel like making it go around twice. And then I'm going to tie this time I'll tie a bow. There we go. And it's stuck in the glue. And there we go. And your twine might be too long also. So if it is, and yes, it's dripping. If it's too long, just take your scissors and snip it off. And there you go. And there's your pot of lettuce. And you will have a little sign to put in yours that you can make it say lettuce also. If your lettuce grows and is really happy, this is loose leaf lettuce. It doesn't form a ball like an iceberg lettuce. It grows, where'd I put the seed packet? I don't know if you can quite see it. See what it looks like. It's black-seeded Simpson. So if it grows like that and you decide you want to eat it, which is perfectly fine. This is a plant that you can eat. Shamrocks, I don't know about. I don't think so. Horses maybe, or sheep, but I don't think people eat them. But anyway, your lettuce is edible. So what you would do is snip off with a little scissor, a sharp scissor, the outermost leaves, not the inner part. That would be called the crown. And if you cut that off, if you damage that part, then you won't get more. But just take the outermost leaves from it, and you can have a little salad because it's only a little pot. But if you grew a whole row of them, then you've got salad for the family. It works. For many years, we had what was once my daughter's sandbox when she was a little tiny kid. And we filled it with dirt, and we used to plant all kinds of stuff in there. But one year we did grow veggies in there, veggies that are shallow rooted veggies. So lettuce would be fine. Things like that would be fine. Not carrots. Carrots grow down. So that wouldn't work unless you got very short ones, but I still don't think it will work. But at any rate, you can do this in a pot. You can do it outside. If you do it outside, you have to make sure that it's in vegetables that need a sunny spot, very sunny spot, for the most part. You need to check with your mom or dad and make sure it's okay. The ground cover, grass, whatever's growing on top would have to be removed, and you have to till the soil, break it up, use one of those cultivator things that looks like a claw on a stick, and you use it to rip up the ground, get it all fluffy, like the potting soil, so that your little seeds can work their way through. So that's the story. Just make sure and the shamrock seeds, that was the thing. I did say it though, I think, that you're going to cover it with plastic wrap. This doesn't say anything about covering it with plastic wrap. Sometimes when things say to cover with plastic wrap, I will tell you, I don't. What I do is I put it in a baggie and I zip it closed. And then I will leave maybe a corner open so that there's a little air circulation. You have to watch that the soil doesn't get moldy and nasty. Okay, so that's it. That's Go Green with Miss Joanne today. And I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it all makes sense to you. I hope your little planties will grow. Here's our shamrocks. And let us know what happens. Okay, I was going to say, once you see this, you can pick up your kit, but you can pick up your kit before you see this. If you didn't register, ask us. There could be a kit or two left. We don't know for sure, but you don't even need the kit. You need potting soil. You need some seeds. You need water. You need a little pot, and it doesn't have to be a cute little grower's pot. It can be any flower pot that you have, any plastic container. You just have to make sure that there are holes in the bottom. So you ask your mom or dad to help you make holes down there. And that's about it. You can do it outside. You can do it inside. Have fun. And when they start selling the plants to go outside, maybe buy some and plant them too. Just make sure you wait until after the frost. It seems to be erratic. So we always wait until after the date that the state or whoever it is that makes that, the Department of Agriculture, sets dates that they say, and we always wait at least a week or two after that because we don't trust it. But that's it. So have fun, plant some stuff, see if your shamrocks come up. They will not come up in time for St. Patrick's Day. I'm sorry. I know they won't. I think they take quite a while, actually. Okay, so that's it from me today, and I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you try to do some green stuff because it's good for the planet. It's good for us. It puts oxygen in the air, although not as much as they used to say, but still, any little bit helps, right? So that's it, something that you can do. Bye-bye. See you next time.